The night was supposed to end with nothing more than laughter, maybe a drive down quiet streets, maybe a song humming low on the radio. But sitting in Santiago's car, parked beneath the flickering glow of a lonely streetlight, I realized I'd been wrong. Because the way his hands gripped the steering wheel, the way his eyes flicked toward me then quickly away, told me he was carrying something heavy, something neither of us could keep hidden much longer. I was 20, still trying to understand the fire in me, while Santiago, 22, carried himself with a reckless charm that made me dizzy. His dark hair fell across his forehead in a way he never cared to fix, and his mouth had a half-smirk, half-secret curve that could undo me with nothing more than a glance. "You're quiet tonight," he said, his voice low, teasing but edged with something else. "I'm just thinking," I answered, my own voice barely steady. Thinking about how close we were in this small car. Thinking about how every breath he took seemed to tug me closer, without him even trying. The air inside the car thickened. His hand left the steering wheel, reaching for the gear shift as if to shift us into drive. But he didn't. His fingers lingered there, right between us, daring me to notice. I noticed. God, I noticed. "You keep looking at me like that," Santiago said suddenly, turning his head fully toward me now, his gaze burning. "And you're going to make me do something I shouldn't." My chest tightened. "Like what?" That was all it took. His hand moved from the gear shift to my thigh, firm, possessive, and every nerve in my body lit up. The warmth of his palm pressed through the denim of my jeans, and my breath hitched. I thought he might back away, give me a chance to pretend I hadn't just let every barrier fall. But he didn't. Santiago was never one for half measures. In one swift motion, he pulled me over the gear shift, closing the space between us. The clumsy angle didn't matter. What mattered was the heat in his grip, the raw determination in his touch. His mouth crashed against mine, hungry, demanding, claiming, and the world outside that car disappeared. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. His kiss was fire, reckless and consuming, the kind of kiss that made rules meaningless. My hands clutched his shirt, desperate, while his fingers tightened at my waist, dragging me further across the seat until I was tangled in him completely. "Santiago," I tried to speak between gasps, but he silenced me with another kiss, slower this time, deeper, as if to remind me he wasn't rushing anywhere. "You drive me insane," he whispered against my lips, his forehead resting on mine. "You don't even know what you do to me." But I did, because every second in that car, every brush of his lips, every tug at his hands told me exactly what I did to him and what he did to me. I was melting, undone, trembling in his arms, yet all I wanted was more. The taste of Santiago lingered on my lips, sweet and reckless, the kind of taste that ruins you for anyone else. His forehead stayed pressed against mine, our breaths mixing, filling the car with a heat that fogged the windows. My heart raced so hard I could hear it echoing in my ears, as though my body knew something life-changing had just happened. I wanted to pull away, to say something rational, but when his thumb brushed my jaw, all thought vanished. "You don't know how long I've wanted this," he murmured, his voice breaking with honesty. I swallowed hard. "Then why didn't you?" "Because you're younger. Because I thought you'd never see me that way. Because if I kissed you once," his hand slid from my waist up to my chest, holding me there like I might vanish. I knew I wouldn't be able to stop. The confession cracked something open in me. My hands, still fisted in his shirt, relaxed, smoothing over his chest as I leaned in again. "Then don't stop," I whispered. That was all he needed. Santiago kissed me again, slower this time, deliberate. His lips moved against mine with a control that made even more unbearable, like he was memorizing every second. My pulse thudded when his tongue brushed mine, sending a shiver straight through me. His fingers tightened at my side, pulling me fully onto his lap now, straddling him across the driver's seat. The gear shift dug uncomfortably at my leg, but I didn't care. The closeness was worth every second. "You're mine tonight," he breathed into my ear, the words rough, claiming. His hands pressed firmly against my back, one sliding higher until it cradled the back of my neck, keeping me close. I shivered, my body betraying me with how much I wanted to belong to him. "Santiago," my voice broke, but it didn't matter. His name came out like a prayer. The car around us faded into background noise, the creak of leather seats, the hum of the engine still idling. The faint song from the radio we'd forgotten was on. All I felt was him, everywhere, his lips traced down my jaw, hot and desperate, finding the spot on my neck that made my breath catch. I arched instinctively, and he groaned, pulling me tighter. "You feel that?" he whispered against my skin. "That's what you do to me. You undo me, and I can't even fight it anymore." I pulled back just enough to see his face, his eyes dark and stormy in the glow of the dashboard lights. There was no pretending anymore, no, just friends, no rules. His honesty stripped me bare. "I don't want you to fight it," I said, my voice steady now. "I want this. I want you." Something flickered in his gaze, then relief, hunger, need, and in the next second his mouth was on mine again, fiercer than before. His kiss was everything. The fear he'd been hiding, the longing he'd been burying, the fire he'd been carrying all this time. We didn't notice the minutes slipping by. The world outside that car could have ended, and I wouldn't have cared. All I knew was that Santiago's hands, firm on my body, left me trembling, left me his. When we finally broke apart, our foreheads rested together once more, both of us panting, skin flushed, lips swollen. He laughed softly, breathless, a sound that made my heart ache. "Guess there's no going back now." I smiled, my chest aching with something bigger than desire. "Would you even want to?" His answer was immediate. "Not if it means letting you go." And right there, tangled in his arms, the gearshift still pressing between us, I realized what he'd known all along. Some moments aren't mistakes. Some moments are the kind you fight for, the kind you surrender to completely. Because Santiago had claimed me with that kiss, and I wasn't sure I ever wanted to breathe without him again.